To the Prime Minister, does he stand by all his government statements and actions?
The Honourable David Seymour.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Prime Minister, yes, particularly our decision and policy to pass a regulatory standards bill. For the first time, people will be able to truly and visibly see the costs of laws and regulations placed upon them, and will be able to place pressure back on politicians not to make overzealous regulations such as the earthquake laws that cost billions of dollars only to be repealed by a more sensible government later.
Supplementary. Does he stand by his Minister of Internal Affairs direction to Fire and Emergency New Zealand in December 2024 to cut millions of dollars from their budget at a time when firefighters say they don't have the staff or equipment they need?
Mr Speaker, yes, I do. I note that the costs of the fire service comes from levies added to people's insurance bills, and our Minister of Internal Affairs is doing a very good job of working on years of neglect, poor asset management and procurement in order that firefighters can be properly equipped and that people who pay insurance premiums on their home can have some relief from relentless rises in cost of living pressures.
Supplementary. Does he stand by his Minister of Internal Affairs decision to restrict Fire and Emergency New Zealand's funding, leading FENZ to state that their funding is, quote, less reliable, end quote, and that they must now, quote, plan for the possibility that our funding will continue to go down, end quote?
Mr Speaker, you see, every government restricts the funding. We actually, like previous governments, have to decide how much of a levy can be put on people's insurance premiums to pay the fire service. So she has not made a decision to restrict it. A restriction has always been there, and if the people on that side of the House had been a bit more restricted in their spending, maybe we wouldn't be in this mess now.
Supplementary. Will he guarantee that Fire and Emergency New Zealand's proposal to cut up to $70 million of spending a year, 10% of their annual budget, will have no impact on the safety of New Zealanders? If not, why not?
Mr Speaker, yes, I most certainly do. And here's how, and it might enlighten members on the other side. Throwing money at a problem is not the same as solving it. It is possible to solve problems by working smarter, putting in place more competent people and making better use of resources. This is what households and businesses have had to do year after year, while a previous government threw money at every problem but didn't actually manage to solve them. So yes, we absolutely can. And as a great New Zealander once said, if you don't have a lot of money, you have to think. The member should try it.
Supplementary. Why, in the same week that a massive fire broke out in Tongariro National Park, has Fire and Emergency New Zealand been forced to cut specialist wildfire roles?
Mr Speaker, they have not been forced to cut specialist wildfire roles. They have been asked to manage within a budget. They are an autonomous Crown entity, and if you think for a moment that they have made that choice because there was a wildfire, which is the implication of the member's question, well, that's just crazy.
Supplementary question. What impact will the loss of 140 jobs, including key fire prevention staff, have on firefighters' ability to respond to emergencies quickly and safely?
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Prime Minister, it won't have an impact if the resources available to the fire service are well managed, which is precisely the government's objective.
Supplementary. Will he guarantee that there will be no pause on the hiring of more professional firefighters?
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Prime Minister, as I said in my answer to an earlier question, decisions such as whether to hire in a Crown entity are not actually made by the Minister. So you would be asking me as the Prime Minister, on behalf of the Minister for Internal Affairs or whoever you think it is, to actually break the law by interfering in a Crown entity. This government does not break the law. That's what other people do.
Supplementary. When will he back our firefighters by giving them the additional staff and equipment they need to do their jobs safely, rather than making massive cuts to Fire and Emergency New Zealand that effectively puts us all at risk?
Well, Mr Speaker, we back the firefighters every day. We listen, we treat them with respect, we visit the stations, and we do things like having an asset management plan. You see, Mr Speaker, in 2017, when the fire service was merged, there was no asset management plan, so it was very difficult to know if the assets were reliable to keep firefighters safe. Now, for the further 6 years, I don't know what was happening, but for some reason, the asset management plan was not put in place. Then in 2023, I don't know what happened, but there seemed to be some sort of change. And since we've had Minister Van Velden in charge of Internal Affairs, an asset management plan has put in place. I don't know if there's a coincidence or a string of them here, but I do know that that member is not the right person to be asking these questions. In fact, I would give up completely if I was her.